The desperate search for victims runs through the morning at the site where two hijacked commercial U.S. jetliners were used to ram the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center. Both towers, where 50,000 work, collapsed. A third building in the tower complex collapsed later in the day. President Bush says the death toll is in the thousands. A third hijacked jetliner crashed into the Pentagon, and a fourth, possibly being diverted to the Washington area, came down in Pennsylvania. All told, an estimated 285 dead on the hijacked planes alone. The FAA has ordered an unprecedented shutdown of air traffic nationwide at least through noon, and the U.S. military is on alert. And once again, put this in perspective, we're going to show you a timeline. The horror of the attacks unfolded on nationwide TV. CBS News correspondent Russ Mitchell gives us a look at how it all played out.
Tuesday morning, the 11th of September, 2001.
It began as a shimmering late summer day.
WCBS News Time, 8:48. It's traffic and weather together. Tom Kaminsky, Chopper 880.
All right, Pat, we are just currently getting a look at the World Trade Center. We have something that has happened here at the World Trade Center.
And within half an hour, became America's second Pearl Harbor.
Freedom itself was attacked this morning by a faceless coward, and freedom will be defended.
By now, you've seen the pictures. But it's been a long, agonizing, and confusing 12 hours.
Oh, it was chaos. It's something out of a movie.
So briefly, here's what we know about exactly what happened. 8:48 a.m., American Airlines Flight 11, hijacked en route from Boston to Los Angeles, slams into the North Tower of the World Trade Center, 2/3 of the way up the 110-story building.
We had seen a fireball, and I can tell you it appears as though something has gone into the World Trade Center.
20 minutes later, at 9:08 a.m., a United Airlines flight, number 175, also from Boston to Los Angeles, tips its wings and crashes into the South Tower.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
An incredible fireball, so remarkable, it didn't even seem real.
Looked like a plane rammed into the second building.
35 minutes after that, 9:43 a.m., American Airlines Flight 77, scheduled to fly to Los Angeles from Dulles Airport outside Washington, dives into the Pentagon, destroying one of the building's 5 sides.
I happened to hear a plane come through. It sounded like it was running normal.
10:10 a.m., the fourth hijacked plane, United 93 from Newark to San Francisco, crashes in a remote area 80 miles southeast of Pittsburgh.
It just come down like it was going to land, but instead of landing, it just went nose straight into the ground.
In a little more than an hour, 4 horrific plane crashes, hundreds believed dead. But far worse was yet to come. At 10:05 a.m., the South Tower of the World Trade Center, possibly weakened beyond hope by the plane's impact, collapses. People can be seen jumping from the high floors.
The building came just rumbling down. It was like a war zone.
10:28 a.m., and the North Tower, choked with smoke and flames from its upper floors, disintegrates. Smoke and ash from the destruction combined to make parts of New York City look like ancient Pompeii after the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. Rescue firemen were coated with thick white dust.
This is terrible. We lost tons of guys. We lost tons of guys.
Cars were under blankets of ash. Rescuers were just happy to be alive. As for the death toll, even tonight there were no hard numbers. But New York Mayor Rudolph Giuliani feared it might extend into the thousands. Half a world away, there was a far different reaction. Gunmen appearing to applaud today's terrorism. But Palestine Liberation Organization leader Yasser Arafat did not join in.
We are completely shocked. Completely shocked.
In Afghanistan, a spokesman for the ruling Taliban, who provides sanctuary for terrorist leader Osama bin Laden, said he could not have been behind the attacks.
Everybody out! Everybody out!
Back home, it was as if war had been declared.
Ordered that the full resources of the federal government go to help the victims and their families.
President Bush spoke to the nation, first briefly in Florida, and later from a military base in Louisiana.
The resolve of our great nation is being tested. But make no mistake, we will show the world that we will pass this test. God bless.
Then, heading to another military base outside Omaha.
The Air Force being evacuated, they need to go home.
All international flights into the U.S. were diverted to Canada. The FAA stopped every single commercial airplane flight for the first time ever. As the day ended in New York City, another skyscraper in the World Trade Center complex crumbled. Building number 7, 47 stories high.
Russ Mitchell reporting. Now, among the dead, the wife of U.S. Solicitor General Ted Olson was aboard the jetliner that crashed into the Pentagon. It is hard to even imagine this moment I'm about to tell you about that took place between this woman and her husband. Barbara Olson called her husband as the plane was being hijacked. And this happened with a number of the passengers and their loved ones on the ground. Also, a passenger on American Airlines Flight 11, Doug Stone. His son is Zach Stone.
I know this is difficult.
I know.
How did you get the word?
I was woken up by one of his best friends.
One of his best friends?
Yeah.
Was your dad often traveling from Boston?
Yeah, he lives there primarily, but he's worked back and forth for the last few months.
Mm-hmm. And he was due to be home for a while?
Yeah, he's probably been here for about 2 or 3 weeks before he went back again.
Mm-hmm. And your mother also was gone, I understand?
Yeah, she had to work in Texas.
She knows, obviously, as well?
Yeah, I talked to her. She's driving home.
She's driving home. If it's not too painful, your dad was, obviously, is your father, and loved him very much?
Yeah, of course. Doesn't love their dad. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. God, he was great to me.
When you heard when you heard what happened, did you have any inkling at all that your father could have been on one of those planes?
Yeah. Well, they called me. I woke up to it. And it was the same. He's taken that flight 100 times. I've taken that flight. I've traveled back there to visit him. And, yeah, I figured it was this flight. I mean, I'm just waiting for the confirmation, but we got it.
Yeah. Okay, I thank you for talking to us. I mean, you have any other thoughts about this whole